Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics, They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel, and the name of my BitChute channel, Comic Freak, if you're watching it on BitChute. My comic book review today is going to be No One Left to Fight, Issue 1. The writer is Avery Stidson, and the art is done by FICO Osio. The cover here done by FICO is a bit boring. It just shows the characters standing around looking mean at each other. Are they angry at each other, or are they just angry that the red-headed guy is sitting in pink goo? I think it's grass that's pink, but I can't be sure. Because it looks, is there goo coming off of him? No, it's not, just wind. So I'm assuming it's just grass. The first page is, of course, just them listing out who worked on this comic book. And it once again prints the title of this comic book, No One Left to Fight. I just left it like this so we don't have to be too bored. And it's a waste of a first page because it could have opened up with a good or great splash page. But instead we get this boring page where they're just listing everyone who's worked on the book. The real first page is a splash page, but it's just an opening shot of the city with the red-headed guy walking out into it. And the colors just blend in together really badly. The background is just like almost one brick of a color. Okay, it's more than one color, but they're all such pastels, and the color blends into each other so badly that the guy barely stands out as well, because he's not that much colored differently than the background. Now he walks up to a house, he knocks on the door, and this creature comes out. It looks like they're going to fight, but no, it's a fake out. This turns out to be another of his friends, who apparently lives with his old friends. And he's basically his friend's babysitter. See here, he's hugging him. And the guy wears glasses, and he wears Mr. T chains. So I guess he's like for some odd reason modeled after an African American man. It's good. The artwork here by FICO Osio is workable. It's good artwork for an independent comic book. He really catches the flavor of something like a 90s video game. Alright. The red-headed guy is named Vale, and his friends' kids come out to greet him. And they're laughing and they're having a fun time. And it's just, well, it's good. The part about this comic book that's good is the fact that this is telling about what happens after one of those stories in a manga ends. How when they have family and they're raising them. This guy's palling around with his friends there. And his other friend here, who's apparently not happy to see Vale, because he thinks Vale is after his wife, even though he's really not. Though I could be wrong about that. But Vale here greets his friend Timur. And Timur, as I said, isn't happy to see Vale. They banter and Timur continues to make slight threats against Vale. Vale is looking out the window as he's talking to his other friend there, Timur's wife, and he watches the kids play in the yard with their babysitter. He tells her that he's had a few problems since he's gotten out of the hero business, after he defeated the big bad. She mentions that they're going to see an old friend that used to have a thing for him, but he tells her that girl and him, he didn't really have the time for her back when they were fighting and trying to save the world, and he doesn't think it would work out. Now, Vale just seems to be a guy who doesn't know what to do with his life. He's gone and done the big thing and been a hero and saved the world. He defeated the bad guy. Timur got married to their other friend, and you see her there comforting her husband Timur. And he tells her that that's all good and fine, but he still doesn't seem to like Vale all that much. Even though she tells him, "Hey, you got a lovely wife, and I'm here with you, and I'll comfort you." He still doesn't seem all that happy that Vale is around, and you'll see this later on the issue. But either way, this shows what would happen if people like in Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or Final Fantasy actually had regular lives, or at least what would happen in their regular lives after the adventure is over. It shows them living an ordinary life with big, fuzzy blue and green hair. Well, either way, it's kind of an interesting story and an interesting premise, and it is good, even if I find the characters kind of one note. Either way, Timur and Vale get into it after Timur is kind of angered that his kids would rather play as Vale and not play as him when they're doing play fighting. And he challenges Vale to show him to a sparring match. Vale, of course, takes this in stride and says that Timur doesn't have to prove himself at anything. Well, Timur refuses to let anything down because he thinks his kids like Vale more than they like their own father. And so he insists on bullying Vale into a sparring match. And they start to fight it out. It's at first it goes kind of slow because Vale is trying to take it easy on Timur. But Timur continues to berate Vale, and Vale finally decides to retaliate after he keeps taking, lip from Timur. Here we can see Vale trying to play it cool and saying, "We can spar a little," but as he tries to say to Timur, he doesn't want to go all out on him and hurt his friend here. Because as I said, Timur just is a bit drunk and he's a bit angry, and he's uncomfortable with Vale in his house because he thinks Vale would like to be with his wife. Vale here, for all he's obviously taking from Timur, is, as I said, taking it in stride. He doesn't want to humiliate Timur in front of his family. And their sparring match goes at first with Timur wailing on Vale as Vale just has his arms up protecting his head. It doesn't really do that much because Vale is just humoring Timur. And Vale finally decides to retaliate. His kids scream "Daddy." Vale didn't want to hurt Timur here, but this causes Timur to whip out his special super mega attack. And this is where Vale begins to have PTSD flashbacks of when he defeated the big bad years ago. And even as Timur, who's slightly drunk, begins to whip out his powers, Vale remembers that final battle when he fought the villain who was trying to destroy the world. And the villain here is your generic big bad demon, I think. But either way, I can understand why Vale would be having flashbacks when Timur begins to power up. It begins with the stress of it and the fact that he's not wanting to hurt his friend. It's causing him to see this monstrous thing in front of him that isn't really there. Here we can see Timur's attack as Vale is still suffering from the flashback. And this is good. This is where the issue ends, and we can see it's going to be a rather explosive. I'd say this is a good comic book, but not a very great one. It has some interesting things with the way Timur and Vale relate to each other, and how Vale has PTSD flashbacks from the stress of their fight. And it is decent, and it is as merit, and maybe we'll see something better in the next issue. Now, if you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me on YouTube at Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then I want you to go over to BitChute and subscribe to Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And please share this video on social media. Share it on Twitter and share it on Facebook. And also, keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.